So forgive me, everybody. Even though I spent last quarter doing a high school drawing and painting class via Zoom, as you can see, I still didn't get it. I'm like a little beyond the learning curve with my age, and I mean, I can blame that, but I'm a pretty hands-on person, so this is not the most natural format for me. So this photograph is the one that I sit and meditate in front of, and poetry comes to me from it. And it's a really powerful one, and a lot of you probably have it as well. Oh, I can hold it up closer to the camera. You know this.
Yeah.
I think it's in Baba's bedroom at the center, if I'm right.
Yeah.
So many, many, many years ago, I did this drawing. It's a pencil drawing of Baba, looking at that photograph. And then after I framed it, I did oil paint around on the glass of the frame. This is a fairly realistic drawing, or trying to be, and the contrast of dark to light is what gives it reality. And I think a lot of us, especially with kids, I've noticed, are afraid of the dark, afraid of going too dark. But you have to have that contrast, just like in our lives right now, for those of you in America. You have to have that contrast to really, you know, make one show out. So we start out really lightly sketching, almost doodling invisibly, and then once we get more sure of it, we're gonna build it. And this is why my best friend is my kneaded eraser. But any eraser will do, except for those little pink kind on the back of regular pencils. Those aren't so great. And I like a sharp point. Does anyone want to say or ask anything, or tell me I'm talking too soft or too loud or anything before we move on?
You're perfect.
Thank you. So are you. Okay.
We can hear, yeah, we can hear you very well. I'm here with my daughter, Jolie. She's over getting some stuff. So she's 6 years old and I'm 42, and we are both ready to draw.
Great. Okay, I moved the photo away, and now I've got, I mean, the drawing away. So this is the photo that I'm going to be, I think I can fit both these in here. Sorry, this is very interesting how to get this to work. Okay, so if this is here, and you're not seeing me, you're just seeing the art, correct? I hope.
Yeah, but it's laying on its side, Marla.
Oh, I know.
Oh, okay.
Probably, maybe if I turn it this way. The reason I want it on its side is because I'm going to be putting my piece of paper next to it so that you can see what I started to sketch. And it's hard to figure out how to get both of these to fit in this, you know, without it being on its side. So that's harder for you. You want it to face you. You need it to be this way.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, so let me put him over here. This is like rubbing your head and patting your tummy at the same time for me.
And
all
then
right.
Just move it over to the right a little bit.
Who knows which right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Is that okay?
A little more. Yeah, that's good. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. So, who is that? Nice. Who did that painting that you're holding up? Katie,
I'm not sure who did this painting. Jolie got it from her, my father-in-law, her granddad had it. But I don't know if there's an artist's name on it, but she wanted to use this one.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Let's go around and everybody show what photo they're going to use. How is that a good idea? That would be fantastic. Yeah. Pat, up there in the corner, what are you going to use? Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Ellen? Nice. And Sue? Oh, sorry, Feresha, you got it on your phone. Okay. Well, that's good for making it bigger. And I see down here, who is this person? This is, I'm not sure. And this one, Armel, Marge, that one. Yeah, that's a great one. And which one are you using over here? Beautiful. Sue, did you show us yours?
Let's see.
Oh, lovely. And who's this down here? Ceres and Paula.
Okay, it got me on.
I don't see you guys. Oh, and there's somebody down there. Who is that holding up the tiny, tiny picture?
Zoxis?
Okay,
Okay,
wow.
I need to get off because I'm not going to be on it. So I,
Oh, that's okay. You can just watch. Don't worry. You know, stay in, you know, it could be fun. Anybody can stay and watch until you get bored.
okay.
And,
Marla, hi, this is, can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay, this is Paula Roper and Joe Hussey just called me. I've got a bunch of other things that I need to do today and I wanted to do this, but I can't. But anyway, Joe can't get on and we're trying to figure out why.
Did she copy the meeting ID and the passcode?
Tell
Yeah.
him or her the password is MyNazar, all small letters, MYNAZAR.
Okay, got that, Joe?
So anytime you want to interrupt, to say, to ask anything, please just, you know, jump in. Just unmute yourself and jump in. And what I think it could be, those of you who have really tiny ones, this could be a little more difficult, but I usually like to, you know, to have his face at least the size of my palm, but we work with what we can. Also, I have done many paintings of Baba in color from black and white photos. So, you know, he helps guide us along and shows us what to do. And the whole thing is to get out of our own way and let him come through. And that's what that means, is not judging yourself, really just breathing and not getting tight. And it becomes a meditation, being willing to erase and change things. Sometimes I'll have an eye I might have worked on for an hour and it's in the wrong place or the wrong size. I have to erase it and do it over. Non-attachment. This is like a total meditative practice in non-attachment here, in being willing to change and let go. And, you know, just like, it really helps dissolve the ego. It's hard to capture him. Sometimes he's there and then you make one stroke and he disappears. And it's like, oh my God, how do I get him back? You know? But to start with, I'm going to move over to where my drawing is here. And I'll start this again. In fact, I'll get that out of the way. So you've got a vertical piece of paper and you look at his face and just pretend you're taking your pencil and going around above his face in the photograph, and look at the shape of it. And probably it's somewhat like an egg. It's an oval, but it's wider at the top and narrower at the bottom. And so what you're going to do, maybe in the middle of your paper, is to make so lightly that, you know, you just like little, you got to move this thing out of the way, almost like chicken marks, you know, scratch marks, really, really lightly, not a hard line. You're just making this balloon, this sort of balloon shape of an oval. And don't worry about getting perfect. This is going to all get erased and changed. It's just a guideline to go on. So see if you can get the general shape of his face. And those of you who are doing a profile or a 3/4 view, you'll do the same thing. If you want to get neck and shoulders in, you know, maybe you can lightly just put in, you know, those little sort of curves where you think they might be. But this is why we're drawing really lightly. You can always get darker, but it's more difficult to get lighter. A lot of these lines will disappear as we go along.
Marla, I assume we're working on our picture of Baba.
Yes, you're working on yours. I'm just demonstrating how I'm doing mine. Can you see, am I drawing dark enough for you to see on there? Should I be drawing a little darker? Yeah.
As long as people have the speaker view on, it's visible, yeah.
Okay, so I'm using my HB pencil. H pencils are really light. They're hard pencils, they're real light. I don't like them. You can use it if you want to. I like the HB because you can go darker with it, but you know, you can also have a really light touch, like you're petting a cat or a sleeping baby. So once you're using your own photograph, and I'll be around to help you in a little bit, looking at each of yours. So I'm going to just draw this a little darker, but for your own one, keep it light. And then what I want you to do is find the center line. Look at your photograph and see, if he has more of one side of his face showing and less of another, that could be a 3/4 view. It could be totally centered. This one has a little more showing on one side. So I'm going to make a light line down the middle, like I've just put him in a fencer's mask. And then I'm going to look at where his eyebrows meet. And I'm going to sort of use my eye to measure. Do you see that in mine here, there's a triangle from his eyes to the tip of his nose to his mouth, this triangle. So I don't make it a mile between his eyes and the mouth, and I don't make his eyes too wide. Usually most of us have one eye distance between our eyes, and some are a little wider, some are a little narrower. But what you're going to do is sort of find a little mark where you think is between his eyebrows, and then move down and make another mark where you think is the bottom of his nose, and then maybe another mark a little further down where you think is the bottom of his lips. So these are just like map guidelines. And then what I'd like you to do is to sort of make a line across where you think this eyebrow line is. And then with my picture, it goes into darkness on this side. So I'm just going to block that out a minute. And then I'm going to go from the eyebrow line down to maybe, it might have to change at some point, but I'm going to put in a circle for where I think this eyeball is, like a little dark marble, but not too dark. Do not press hard. Keep your HB pencil light. And then I'm going to just walk straight across that line to under the middle of this other one and get another circle. Now it's possible that his eyelids are covering part of his eyeball. So that's okay. We can make part of that eyeball go away. Maybe one is open wider than the other. With both of our sides of our face are different on both sides. Usually one eye is lower, one is higher, one is wider. So the way I see it is with an eye, it's like a basketball. And inside the basketball, the pupil is like a little golf ball. And then they're both inside a football. So it's basically almost like a triangle shape on either side. So this eye that I just put there is probably too small. I might have to shorten everything, or I might have to make it bigger. But I'm not going to be attached to it now. I'm just going to try to work on this, get this eye shape here. And then I'm going to go above it and make a little rainbow shape for his eyelid. So when I'm not looking, he can close his eye. And that's darker. So I'm going to maybe just color that in just a little bit. So you've sort of hopefully got maybe eye placement. Now what I'm noticing on mine is between this eye and the side of his face, I got way too much space. So already I just put him on a diet. I'm going to go back to here and make this side of his face smaller. And I can just X that out or erase it later. But I realized that that side of his face is too wide. So I have to keep narrowing it down. So his face is going to get smaller than what I originally had intended because of the size of the eye. So what I'd like you to do is to just try to get the eye in the shape of the face there. Maybe see his eyebrows. There's a lot of space between his eyelid and his eyebrow. In my picture, you can barely see this eyelid here. And it's very close together here. It's almost like pinched. So you can maybe do, these are like backwards parentheses on either side of the top of his nose. It's like backward parentheses, like that. Again, your picture is going to look different than this one.
Excuse me, Marla.
Yes, I'm coming back.
Could you just slow down a little bit?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I'm the only one. I feel like it's really fast.
Okay.
We don't go as fast as you.
Yeah, let me, do you want to show me where you're at so far? And I can make comments?
Well, personally, I'm just trying to help Jolie still with the face shape.
Okay.
So we're,
Make an oval and then just make it narrower at the chin.
okay, okay.
And then divide it down the center and divide it into thirds. And the top third will be the eyes, and this third will be where the mouth is.
Okay,
And then we'll reshape it, you know, as we get the features going in.
okay, thank you.
Now, the easiest way to do this, I should tell you,
Marla,
is, yes.
I'm going to tune out and watch the recording.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat. See you another
Yeah.
time, I hope.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye. Let's see. Okay, so what I did when I used to teach 7th grade art, they made the most amazing photorealistic self-portraits you could imagine. But how we did it is I took a black and white photograph of them and we gridded it. We gridded the whole thing into little squares, then we gridded our paper, and whatever shape and value, dark, light, you know, shape, direction we saw in one square, we copied it on our paper. So by the time we were finished, we had this, it looked like it was a photograph. So if we really want to be photorealistic, we could do it that way, but the way we're doing it is more freehand right now, you know, just like looking and using our eye to measure, because to me, that's a more meditative way to do it. We can do it the other way another time if you want to try that. It takes a long time. It took us, I would say, you know, almost a whole semester to do those small portraits that way. So does anybody want to show and ask anything, or shall I go back to my little demo?
I'd be happy to show Marla where I'm at. I don't think my proportions are accurate. I don't know if you can see it in this
Oh, I
light.
can't. No, actually, it looks really good. I have a feeling that the mustache might get too wide. Usually, if you take the ends of your mouth and you go straight up, you hit yourself in the center of your eyeball. So if you look at your picture, look at the ends of his mustache and go up. You know, maybe they do in that picture go to his end of his eyes.
They do actually come to the end of his eyebrows.
Oh my goodness.
It's an early photograph and his.
Oh, right, when he had that really like almost comical, right?
Yeah.
Okay then. Yeah, yeah, that's why it helps to see the photo. No, that looks really good. Does anyone else want to show, or shall I move on?
But you got, it's not.
Yes. Yeah, Sylvie, that looks really good. I have a feeling maybe his eyes are going to get closer together. So measure, look at your photo and see how much distance is between the eyes. Is there one eye between or more? Because the corners may want to come in closer. But again, it depends on the photo. You know, I would think after all these years of drawing him from photos or making him up, you'd think I would know by now, but I don't.
You mean they must be closer?
Maybe. I mean, they should be about one eye distance apart.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
But look at the photo, because go
Yeah,
by the
sure,
photo,
sure.
by me. All right, so once you feel like you have that sort of where it needs to go, I think what we can do is maybe make from one eye, this is mean, but I'm going to go to from his eyeball to the tip of his nose and make like a letter V back to the other eyeball, just so I can sort of see where the tip of his nose is going to maybe be in this photograph. And then the bottom of a nose, it's sort of like a letter U or letter V. So if you can draw straight and curved lines, if you can write the alphabet, draw, all made out of curved lines and straight lines, even though there's no real lines in our face except for some wrinkles. So maybe I've got the bottom of the nose there, and then this mustache, I'm going to go from, you're right, his mustache, how much cheek space is between the eye and the mustache, and how far does the mustache go out? So we almost have to get the mustache in before our mouth, since we can barely see his mouth. So I'm sort of just mapping in. He sort of looks like some kind of feline right now in mine, but I'm mapping in where this mustache would be. And don't worry, he's not going to get mad at you. He's probably laughing with us right now. And then the mustache continues under the nostril. So after you get that little tip of his nose, that's sort of a curve, you're going to stretch it upwards into like a letter U or V kind of shape, where his nostrils would be. And that mustache is going right up into that nostril. So another thing I do sometimes, often, is I work upside down. I don't think we're going to try this one upside down yet, but it's a good way to see if you've got things in proportion. And you could maybe just, fill in with a little bit of value, meaning, the values are dark, medium, and light. So just a sort of little gray value where you think this mustache would be. And I'm going to come back and look at yours in a moment. So we are doing it this way, huh? And once again, I see that I'm going to have to narrow his face because the end of my cheek and mustache is much closer in than what I had done before. Made this cute little cheek there. So X out that one. So I don't think anyone really gets it unless you're Picasso. You probably don't get it exactly right the first time. Okay. So let's see how people are doing. Anyone want to show, share, ask yet?
Let me see.
Yeah?
So the, let's see.
Joe,
So the way you did the nose, you did that V and then you filled in like
And
the
then you
point
pull it
and
up
the
like-
nostril.
yeah, you pull the V up like it's a letter U or a letter V to get the nostrils. And then these things on the side of the nose, if you push them, you make a funny voice. The things on the side of your nose, those are sort of like parentheses. And they're shorter underneath and taller on the sides. But if Baba's smiling, it changes it, So, but it's sort of like a long letter C, those little, you need to have those side of the nose things there.
Okay.
But Joe, I'm just wondering with yours, I was just looking at the size of your eyes, of the irises, the color part of the eyes, and
I think they're too big.
yeah, I know. We always want to make the eyes bigger. We always want to make the head bigger. The one thing artists do a lot of is they practice by doing self-portraits, because you don't get mad at yourself when you're doing a self-portrait if you make yourself not look good. And you can, Van Gogh did 30 something self-portraits in the 10 short years that he painted. One, it's free, you don't have to hire a model. And two, you can just keep looking and fine tuning. So that could be a fun thing to draw yourself from. Ooh, let's look at this one down here. Yeah. Can I see your photo? Who is it who's down there? I don't see your name. Oh, you're muted. How do I unmute you?
Veronica.
Okay, Veronica, let me see the photo you're working from again. Oh, yeah. Beauty. Okay, now put your drawing in front of it.
Is the light bad? Is it visible?
It's a little light. Probably his nose, the point of it is, maybe the point's in the right place, but maybe the nostril-y things want to go up more on a diagonal.
Okay.
Like his nose is a little too flat across the bottom. It wants to be more of a skinny V going up.
Okay. Elora, my 12-year-old wants to get some feedback.
Okay. Oh, wow.
That's sweet.
Lovely. Very nice. Wow. I think, what do I think of that one? Maybe once you give his pupils and his brown irises some color, it'll set in his face more. Sometimes when we leave it white, it looks a little like alien. So I would go in and give him the pupils and the darkness of his brown eyes, and let's see what that looks like. And then his chin is always a tricky one for me, you know, because it's like a double chin. And notice the one mustache side is really close to the edge of his face, and the other mustache side, he has more face showing. So it's like playing around and redrawing and erasing that all. He's got that little piece of hair showing up on the skinny side of the face by his side of his eye, and that helps us do the in and out, that little curve of darkness there on yours. Very nice.
And my 11-year-old wanted to show his.
Okay, let's see. Wow, beautiful. I think you're getting there. I think yeah, don't be afraid to give him that big. His nose is like a big diamond shape, you know. So the bottom of his nose, it goes up on a sort of dramatic diagonal. And then it almost makes this diamond shape going back up to the skinny part on top. And it's hard to see the chin on yours, but you could, oh, it's so light. I wish I was there.
Sorry.
But you're getting there. You know, another way to do it is to do it all just with shading, to put in the values, to leave the lights and to just play with lights, mediums, and darks, and let the face come out that way.
Okay, let's get back to the nose.
Actually, Huz,
Thank you
that's
for
a
the
face.
feedback.
Yeah, I hope it helps. Oh, look at that one. We got a profile up in the corner. Cute. He looks like a smile.
He looks funny.
Well, he does look funny. That's why people like his face, you know? I mean, he's not scary. He makes people happy. Fareshta, can I see your photo?
Can you see mine? I don't know about the sun.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the expression is not there yet.
Yeah, I wonder, he has a cute little smile on his face. He looks a little too stern right now. Can you see it?
I'm going to come back to yours in one sec. Fareshta, make his mustache come up higher under that side of his nose there. I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's do this one. Armel. Yeah, Armel, I think that's looking pretty good. I think that the skinny side of the face is probably going to get even narrower, more graceful narrowness here and by the chin, I think.
Rushing. Really send stuff to people.
And then maybe Armel, maybe the nose a little less pointy, maybe a little more roundy on the edge there.
Okay.
Okay, and whose is this? Ooh. Oh yeah. Very sweet.
No. Go into their system.
Yeah, what do you think?
In other words, if we get another something.
Ask to unmute. Ask to unmute. How do I unmute you down there? Who is that? Okay, I'm going to go back to mine for a moment and see. Oh, so with the lip, you know, you can probably only see some of his bottom lip, and what's really darker than the lip is the shadow underneath the lip. So if you can look at things in terms of light, mediums, and darks, where in fact, squint your eyes at the photograph right now, and you'll see where all the darks pop out and where all the medium values and then the lighter ones. And if you can sort of just, you know, block in some values with your pencil, you know, try not to push too hard for the darkest dark because it'll be hard to erase and change it. But you want to have like 3 different values going on. You want to have dark, medium, and a lighter value. And only save the light of your paper for where there's really, really highlights. Like right now I see like, oh, I made the forehead too big. I have to go in and make it smaller. I'm not even going to erase all my wrong marks I did in the beginning yet, just so you can see them more. And it's okay. I would work all over the place. Like, don't say, oh, I have to finish this one eye and perfect it before I do something else. But it's sort of like a dance floor. You have the entire dance floor and you need to use the whole dance floor. This is your choreography, your floor. And so you're going to move around. You can redraw over things. I just moved an eyeball. And if, you know, maybe I'm up here at an eye and I'm going to jump down to this cheek and say, oh my, that wrinkle is actually way higher than I had it. Uh-oh, this nose is way higher. I'm like totally off. So, which I am a lot, which is the fun of it. It's like a game. Try to capture the Baba is the name of our game right now. And he keeps moving. It's like he's being very tricky here. I made my nose way, way too long. So I'm redrawing it up here. Everything's a mess, which is totally okay because I have my friend the eraser who's going to come to my rescue at some point. So keep adding on. You know, you can have big marks, big strokes like this, like, you know, like waves, like you're brushing your hair to fill in space. You can hold your pencil this way and you can fill in more areas more like this. If you want to do sort of a fuzzier, just filling in, you can always erase. What I love about the kneaded eraser is that I can use it to draw with. So say that I want light going down the middle of his nose. I can squeeze my eraser into an open little shape and I can just take a walk and erase with it. And all of a sudden I have light on his nose, get that light off of his, you know, that pencil off of his forehead. And I would encourage you to draw with your eraser, take away what you don't need. You know, if you, anywhere you put something that it's like, uh-oh, you know, you can just keep moving, move away what you don't need. It's just like our sanskaras. We are erasing our sanskaras as we do this. It's quite mystical and magical. We're making all this stuff just disappear. And he's here helping us. And you just have to trust him and ask him to help you before you start anything. I remember somebody once said to me that before they went into a meeting, they would say, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba. And before I used to teach my AP art history class, I would be really nervous. And I would say, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba. And then I would trust and know that he was there helping me. And I didn't have anything to worry about, that I was doing my best and leaving the rest to him. So I am totally redrawing where I've got this nose. I made his face way too long. So this is more about practice than product. You're probably not going to make something today, at least I know I'm not, that's going to be, you know, like, oh, I'm going to run out and frame this or give it as a gift. It's all like it's a practice, like meditation or yoga. It's just a total practice and you keep getting better at it the more you do it. Or like me, if you're a little rusty on it, it takes a lot longer to get back into the rhythm of it. Okay, I'm coming back to see how you're doing. All right, what did somebody hold up? It looks like writing. What does it say? Abby, will you unmute yourself and tell us what you wrote?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was holding it out to sketch.
Oh, I thought you wanted us to read that. I thought you were just a message.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So I wonder, these people we can't see, does that mean they went away? Are they still here? Or did
They just have their videos off, that's all. They can still hear us and they can see us.
Oh, okay.
Dirksy, Sylvie, Veronica, Marge, and Connie.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, Marla, comments?
Oh, it's beautiful. You've done this a lot, haven't you?
Not for many, many years.
Wow.
Well, but it's not looking like Baba to me much, so.
Could you show it again, Ellen?
I changed the picture.
Who is it?
Yeah, show your drawing again.
I'm gonna see what comes down there, okay.
Where is it?
There's the drawing.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice. And look at Sylvie. Sylvie, show yours again too.
Let me find, Sylvie's, oh, that's lovely.
Wait a minute, I can't see. Oh yeah, good.
Look at Sylvie's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, definitely Baba is coming out.
Yeah, for sure. He's right there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Sylvia, I think you should teach this instead of me, really.
No.
Wow.
On the body, so it's like.
Oh, okay. So the body is interesting. Can you see that much of his body in the photo?
Oh yeah, I can see a lot of it. Right
All
now
right.
I'm working on like that. You know how he has like that thing. Now I'm
The
working.
garland?
Yeah. Yeah.
First, look at his neck and shoulders in your photo. Like for me, I can fit a whole nother head on this shoulder and another head on this shoulder. So maybe his shoulders come out sort of like, you know, like wider on a gentle slant.
Yeah. Did you want to show Will?
I made a map.
Oh, a map? Is that what he said?
Yeah, it's a map. Mm-hmm.
Cool. I like how dark you got your pencil.
Here's mine. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, yeah, lovely.
Oh, very nice.
And I used a pen.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's another thing, you know, I mean, though you could do Baba with a pen, the only thing is you can't erase it. So you have to, so that's a very trusting place to go. Could be fun. Ooh, yes, yeah, he's coming. So I want you to just look at the top of his head shape, Joe, in your picture. And is there more roundness up there? Oh, it's far away, right? It's a little one, that one. Yeah. Wow, that's a gorgeous photo. I think, yeah, his hair may be a little fuller and rounder on top. Like pretend that you could, you know, even like touch it. I can't hear you. Ellen, let's see.
Oh, the eyes, the right eye's not correct. I'm trying to sort it.
Yeah.
The placement's a little high, I think, on the right eye.
Well, it could be too that, you know, that right eye is higher in real life, you know.
No, well, I'm going to the picture to the, you know, from the picture to
Right.
the drawing back. And
So
and,
another thing, I mean, you might want to do this now. Sometimes it's scary, but you might want to turn your photo upside down and your drawing upside down. I'm going to do it here.
Okay, yep.
And it makes it, sometimes it makes it easier.
Options and placement.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden it's not a nose anymore. It's just a shape. And I do this with realistic stuff, with abstract stuff, whatever I'm doing. Sometimes I don't even know which way, until it's all done, I should hang it, because I've worked on it from every side, like Jackson Pollock when he put his canvases on the ground and worked from every single side of it, so that it's got balance. And it just really helps you see the composition and shapes and darks and lights better. So I would encourage you to try that. Try working upside down. And also, if you haven't sharpened your pencil and you need to, I like these kind of sharpeners that have this little thing that the stuff can, the sharpening dust can fall into, so it's not all over the place if I'm not using my electric noisy one.
Things to fall into.
All right, so looking upside down. And, you know, you can also, you can be loose and, you know, put it, just be like you're dancing around. You can put in marks that maybe aren't even there. I mean, maybe it's just like a playfulness of, like, I know his hair isn't doing what I'm doing right now. I know it's not being messy and curly all over, but I'm just wanting to get in some darkers and to help me. And you might even lose some of what you did and have to go back and retrieve it. Sometimes the neckline, like right now in mine, I'm seeing that his, where his jacket touches his neck, it's really, really dark in there. So I'm going to hope that I'm in the right place and put this there. The shadows in the double chin are really tricky. If you're doing a painting, you can be spending forever trying to get this. And there's a dimple. There's like a dimple. And one way to get that lighter wrinkle, again, is to take that kneaded eraser and to make a little skinny line with it and to pull out that little dimple or any kind of lines that you would want. The whites of his eyes maybe are going to come out. The bottom of his nose. The sides of his nostrils, on the sides of his nose, are really, really dark. Oh, I find it so much easier to work upside down. It's so much less intimidating. You might want to, if you haven't tried it yet, I totally encourage you to do it. Now I don't feel afraid. Now I'm like in the flow of it because I'm upside down. But I also see the distance between my cheek and the eye is totally off now that I'm upside down. So I'm not happy about that. So one thing people do is they just leave it, but it'll never look like him if you do that. You have to be willing to say, okay, Baba, I'll try again. Until he's satisfied, it's not done. Whenever I've done, paintings of him, I wait till I can feel like, okay, he's satisfied with it now. I can stop. So I'm measuring and I see that the wrinkle between the top of his nostril down to the smile line, mustache, and then the wrinkle underneath his eye are really way, way closer together than I've got. So I'm going to have to really redo some things here. I'm going to have to move this whole eye. Oh dear. Oh well.
Yeah, I just took out an eye. Okay.
You tried the upside down yet?
I'm doing it upside down.
Good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's something you could do. If you want to, you can use a little bit of colors because that's what I'm doing.
Oh, what kind of, are you using colored pencil or crayon?
I'm using pencils.
Nice. I love using color. Ooh, oh, I see Baba holding the baby goat. It almost looks like he's got glasses on. Yeah. Very sweet.
Suggestions? Just keep working.
I think so. Try it upside down, Marge, if you haven't done that yet. So besides Katie, wasn't there someone else who had a child with them there somewhere? I thought we had another person with children present.
Yeah, Veronica.
Veronica. Veronica, are you still around? Maybe the kids needed a snack or something.
Yes, we are still around. We are still struggling along.
Oh, well, show us any time. We'd all love to see.
Yeah, we're on the upside down now. We're trying the upside down. Yeah, go ahead, sure. Please do.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I have a feeling that one of the eyes is going to have to move, maybe both a little bit. Look at the inside corner of his eyes and see how much space is between the two eyes. They might be a little far apart there in that one.
Okay, I bet he's 4 years old who joined in. Huh.
Trying to see it. Okay, I think I see some of it. And what's more important is to get the energy of him. It's not just what he looks like, but it's the energy and the love. And that's what you want to capture more than anything. Just feel like Baba is hugging you. In fact, oh, I don't have that drawing nearby, do I? I'm going to grab something.
I think we're going to be regulars anyway. We're going to get to know each other.
Oh, Mom, it's nearly done.
Where could it be?
I need my babe.
So strange.
Where's Marla?
I'm sorry. I was looking for there it is. Okay, so another thing. So this is a drawing I did of Baba holding a little me, and this obviously is not from a photograph. This is an imaginary one, and it starts with just doodling, and then I start to see it, and then I go in and shade just with the HB and the 2B pencil. But once you sort of, I mean, we all know what he looks like, but it's a caricature. So it doesn't always have to be realistic. When I was looking at the kids, Veronica's made me think of this one, that it's like you do what Baba feels like to you. It doesn't have to be, oh, his eyebrow is 1 inch too short, it doesn't have to be totally that.
That makes sense. I'm hoping to do that someday, to just draw him from the impressions.
And it really is this, he said, didn't he say once, we're going from the age of instinct to the age of intuition?
Yes.
So I think that's what it is. It's like being in the intuitive place and just being almost like a medium and letting it come through, and you just doodle till you start to see something. There's another little made up one in here too, because we can do this another time. So I was feeling sad, and I drew this one, and there's Baba playing his violin with me in his boat.
Oh, wow.
So it's a little made up one.
That's very
and then
sweet.
we've got just one more that's even more strange here. So this is when my daughter is 24 now. When I was worried about her as a teenager, this is, don't worry, Baba's got her, and that's me and Baba like holding her, but we have boats in our eyes, like we're sailing somewhere.
Wow.
But it's all made up. It's not, these aren't from photos.
This is visionary art.
So you can do both. You don't have to be only a realism person or only an imaginary fantasy person. Oh, that's lovely. Oh,
Is that better?
Yeah, definitely. Much, much nicer. I'm wondering about his ear, and does it go on such a slant backwards, or is it a little straighter?
Well, I had to fix his nose a lot, or his forehead, and now I'm sure everything's out of kilter.
Yeah, so it's the same thing with the painting. Once you do something in one spot, it's like, oh my goodness, then you have to go change everything.
But it's good to not be afraid and just do it.
Oh, look at that one down there. Who's this cutie guy? Look at this cute little face with his hair down. So I'm looking at this little face down here with the hair down, and I'm seeing between his nose where the eyebrows come together. It might be a little dark right there, and then look at the shape of his eyebrows. And are they really straight lines, or do they do a little more distinct, sort of up a little and then down on the edges? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Can I see your photograph again?
Oh, actually, I changed my photograph.
Oh, you changed it. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's an intense one. He doesn't look that happy in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're right. That is intense in that one. His face might be like a little more slender than you have it.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Look, we got a whole family down here. Veronica's whole family's here. I love it. So do you guys know each other, Katie's kids and Veronica's kids?
No.
Well, look at this.
I think she's my best friend.
You can touch each other. You only have an inch apart on here.
What?
20 past 9 p.m. It's a late night because in France we're some hours ahead.
Nico's on.
Go ahead.
If you wanted to, I just thought of this. Maybe you could like draw the sky.
Great idea for the background, for sure. Katie, can we see tell me what's your daughter's name?
Jolie.
Jolie. Let's see what you did with the color.
Oh, I made it colorful.
Oh, you made the flowers in color. Okay, look at his shoulders and see if his garland might fall off his shoulders. So you might want to give him a little more roundness up there so the garland doesn't fall off.
A little bit. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Ah, that's better. Something's working.
Ooh, who said that?
Ellen, I think I got even better on the eye placement.
So when you start to, if you start to get it to a place where you feel like this, I really think I've got the proportions right, everything's sort of in its place, you can move from the HB to the 2B pencil, which is softer and goes darker if you push hard on it. And then of course the 4B or a 6B or an ebony go really dark. I can do entire drawings just with a 2B pencil, but I always start with an HB, and then I add a 2B for places I want to go really dark, and occasionally, like maybe for his hair or pupils or eyebrows, I'll go to the 4B. Sylvie, did you want to show? Ooh, Sylvie.
Wow. Whoa, that's so delicate.
I don't know who is he.
So
Yeah.
delicate.
So you might want to get some shadow under the, the jaw, just like I'm looking at you now, and I know your skin's the same color, but the neck color is, the tone looks darker because of the shadow of our chin in front of it. So you could go darker there, maybe a little darker on the side of his face. You could even put some strands of hair in there if you want to, maybe even emphasize some darkness in the mustache, but it's quite lovely. You really. And, it's hard for us to get out of the way, all the way, because our personality, our personal style is still going to come through a little bit in what we do. If we're influenced by certain artists, maybe we see a little bit of that artist in there, or just our own energy is going to come through. Be really interesting if we could totally disappear. And if it was just Baba coming through, is that even possible? Or does he sort of need our vehicle, our style to give it some form? I'm going to go back to my upside down one too. So also notice where the light is coming from in your photo. Like I notice in mine, the light's coming from two places, but there's a light edge around the side of his hair, and maybe at the end I'll just erase that out, almost like a sort of a halo kind of effect. And also where his hair starts to come in at the edge of his hairline, it's probably not abrupt, it's probably not a hard line, but my guess is the hair gets much softer right as it begins to touch the forehead. At least that's what I'm seeing in this one. And you don't want to make the hair too big, too little. And then if the hair is behind the face, then there might be a harder line when something's behind. And then, what about all the little frizzy things? That's another challenge sometimes. And do you see his ears or just part of his ears? Never leave something out that you see, because people wonder what happened to his ears. And we know he has a tall forehead, but some of us, like me, get too tall. And then I have to go in and, shave some off a little bit. But don't worry, it doesn't hurt him. It's such a cool kind of plastic surgery. He doesn't even know. The other thing about eyebrows, what I'm noticing is where the eyebrows are in the beginning, they're darker. And then as they go out to the edges, they get lighter. So they're not the same darkness. They're more, they look lighter as they disappear. And then there's these sort of sometimes this dark wrinkle and shadow underneath the eyebrow. Oh, here's another idea. So how does his eyeball fill the white of his eyes? Can you see the top of his eyeball? Can you see a little bit of the white beneath his eyes? Is it truly white or is it a pale gray? Very pale gray.
Can I get some help with the eyes?
Hmm?
Can I get some help with the eyes?
It's
Oh.
4:30.
Wow. All right. So one, it's interesting because one eye is higher up and the other eye, Veronica, looks like it's sort of like a sleepy eye, like going down a little. And I'm not quite sure which way.
I have to sort them out. See,
Oh, yeah. That's,
I'm not used to drawing, so I'm a bit of a
well, if
beginner.
you're not used to drawing, this is really good. So sometimes if I've got a problem in one place, I go work on somewhere else and it fixes the problem in the one place. So I'm thinking your mustache wants to get wider and your nose wants to go up more on angles like a letter V, like after the nostrils. So take the nostrils and let them like be like a little birdie, like people make those fake birdies in the sky, and stretch your mustache out more, and that'll help you more with the eyes, believe it or not.
And then just rub them out and start again.
No, don't rub them out at all. I think what you're probably going to wind up doing is raising the one that's lower. You're going to maybe raise that one just a little bit. I think that there's maybe too much space between the eyebrow and the eye of his left eye.
Okay, I'll try to adjust that space.
But before you go to the eyes, stretch his mustache out a little bit and make this nose thing more like that, and then it'll pop them into place.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Laura wants to.
Wow. All right. I would. I think the eye that's further over, you know, and lower down. See if you can, if you don't mind, bring that a little bit closer and higher up to his other eye, and then let his mustache get darker.
And I need also a little help.
Pardon?
I need also a little help.
Just a little. We all need help.
Actually, I need a lot of help.
Oh, that's cute. I like yours. Okay. So what I want to recommend to you is to darken around the bottom of the nose, the little things that you push in when you have to blow your nose. Darken those edges and then down to the point, and then go up to his eyeballs and darken his eyelash line, because we don't want to see every single eyelash like a bunch of spider legs, but we do, you know that he's got a dark outline up here, this dark eyelash line. I don't wear eye makeup, but probably you've seen women who have those really dark eyelash lines. So you want to get a darker line there. So everyone squint at your photograph and then squint at your drawing. And are all the darks in the same place? And the darkest part should be his pupils, his eyebrows, his mustache. And then you look at the mediums and it's like, uh-oh, did you leave like a whole cheek light when there's actually a medium value in there?
But the thing is, I didn't put any eyelashes.
No, don't put an eyelash. Just put a dark line like over, like a little rainbow over the eyeball. Like if you want to close your eyes where your eyelashes come out of, just make that line darker.
Okay. Does that make a better nose? And
Oh yeah. Okay. That is definitely, believe it or not, that helps get it better. So I think in your photograph, isn't he sort of smiling a tiny bit?
yes, he is. And my smile, he looks a bit tough in my picture.
Yeah. Well, he's probably sad about what's going on in the world right now. So that's coming through. But stretch that one mustache, just maybe up a little bit more, into this a smiley kind of realm. And then I think that eye, the one that wasn't lower, the other one, how do we get a little more happiness in that eye? And maybe it's looking at the color, at the shape, stretching out the corners of it a tiny bit. But it's all in the eye. It's like, how do you get that glitter in his eye?
Right.
Let me find my
That's what I want to know.
Okay.
Highlight.
It's the contrast. It's the dark pupil against the highlight of where the light goes, but it's also getting that highlight in the exact right spot too. Like if you put it in one spot on one eye and another on another, it'll look like he's going in two different directions. Let me grab another thing to show you. So a few years ago, I made a book of my my poetry and art. It's got a lot of Baba stuff in it. But in this painting, I don't know if you can see his eyes. Maybe if I can put it under here. Where am I?
Beautiful.
Am I here?
That's sideways.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's good.
I'm trying to show you the eyes, but he's moving. Anyway, there's a gleam in it, you know, and look where the darks are. The shadows by his face, the double chin stuff.
That contrast is so important.
Yeah, the contrast is really important. And then I also have Who's Doing Baba and the Goat. I've got one of Baba and the baby goat in here. This is the first one I ever did of him with the baby goat.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was
Can
hard.
I see the cover of your book?
It's called Listening to the Bones, Poem, Meditations, and Art. And the whole third section is it's my art and poetry about Baba. So here's an imaginary one right next to a real one. You know, the imaginary one, it's from a real photograph, but I put him on a giant flower. And the other one where he's in the chair, it's from a black and white photo, but he gives me what colors to use. He tells me, I want to be this color. So here's a total imaginary one, you know, oil pastel, which is fun. It's fun to mix your medium, to work in all different colors. I mean, all different mediums like oil pastel, oil paint, you know, pencil drawing. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And there's the back.
Sorry, I'm going to disturb again. I think I got one eye better.
Yeah, I think you did.
I don't know how to adjust this one.
Well, that one's smaller now. So now now that one wants to get similar to the other one.
I need to bring it out a bit.
Yeah, a little bigger, I think.
Thank you.
May I show you mine?
Please. Wow. So is this, are we looking, I see Abby's and Veronica's, so I don't know whose voice that was, who was talking.
That was Abby's.
Okay. So Abby, wow, look at those eyes.
Show me again. Can I see again, Abby?
Can you see it?
Yeah, hold it maybe closer to the screen and up higher and a little higher.
Oh, that's okay.
Wow.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
I still don't think he's got the smile, but you know,
No,
he certainly has the intensity.
There's definitely an intensity.
It's probably the way I'm feeling right now. He's mirroring my intensity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, oftentimes, you know, those of us who do portraits of people, they always look somewhat like ourselves. Like when my grandmother died and my father, they both looked like Baba. It was amazing to me.
Wow.
So it's not surprising that we're mixed in with it.
Yeah.
I used my picture.
Ooh. All right, Jolie, give him some dark hair. He's out in the snow now. Give him his nice dark hair. Use dark brown maybe. Oh, look at Veronica. Yeah. You got it. Are you happy with it?
Oh yeah, that looks good.
Yeah. Really nice. So maybe inside the eyelid, there might be some darker shadows above and maybe up in the corners. And then under his lip, there might be a darker shadow. And then you could even start going darker with some of the hair on the sides too. You guys are really, whoa, Fareshta. And look at that. Oh, now he's got the dark hair. Okay, so the only thing with yours, Jolie, is his face is a little wide here. So maybe the hair, maybe the cheeks get a little bit skinnier and the hair comes in a little more. What do you think? Look at the photo and see. Wow, you guys.
You know, that's nice. I love it.
You know, with mine, Marla, he's leaning forward and I haven't captured that.
I'm not sure who's speaking now. Oh, Fresco.
Yeah, he's leaning forward. So you know he's leaning forward, but I haven't been able to capture that.
Let's see the photo one more time. Okay, now let's see that you're drawing.
It's totally like he's sitting up.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think, I mean, turn your paper leaning. Man, it still won't do it. It is, you got him sitting straight. I mean, I think you would have had to get that angle from the beginning.
Yeah.
So this will be a series for you. You know,
Yes.
Bob in movement. Like sometimes when you take a picture with your camera and it's got the movement stuff on it.
Good idea.
Yeah. Oh, yes. All right. So, Jolie, what is underneath the sky? Is he at the beach? Is it sand? Is it grass? Is he in the woods?
You're muted. Okay, go ahead.
He is in the night, so you can see like the blue sky, and then you see how I made that? It's the moon going into a dark cloud.
Wow. Cool. You know, so the bottom part of your picture is sort of white. So if you want, I mean, you could put him in a pink jacket or a colored jacket, or you could put a collar on either side of him. Maybe you're there, maybe you and your family are all sitting next to him. Maybe he's sitting outside with flowers in the woods, or, you know, whatever you want.
Good idea.
Ooh. Okay, who's this here? Who has holding the lamb? This is I know who this is. This is Marge, right? Marge, you have to unmute yourself.
Hips.
That's
very nice, Marge.
Lovely. Very lovely.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
So Marge, start darkening the hair, and maybe there's a hard line, Marge, that goes from the inside of his nose around his eye to his eyebrow. Maybe you can soften that line a little bit.
Okay. Any tips about hands?
Oh, hands. Oh my God, hands. Yeah, for sure. You're doing great. Hands are the most difficult thing, but you're doing really well with the hands. Also,
keep going.
Marge, where his face touches the baby goat, there might be like a little shadow in there on his face because he's behind the baby goat, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Where is he? Yeah. Okay, so here's, so Marge, here's how I did the hands on mine. It's where the shadows are and how it's darker between the fingers. And if you can see the negative space, the spaces between the fingers, then you can draw the fingers.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Uh-huh. Ooh, Sylvie.
Oh,
look at that.
Oh, wow.
So Sylvie, how did you get that softness? Did you use your finger to smush it?
Yes.
Yeah. I like to use my finger too. I've been with other artists who say, oh, never do that because the oils in your hand get on the paper and it's hard to erase. But I totally believe in using your finger as a smusher.
But the eyes, it's okay. Don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you could go darker on the eyelid line and maybe the line, you know, the inner eyelid line and the eyelid line, if it seems darker to you there. Possibly, yeah, in the corner. But yeah, it does. It seems good.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it seems really nice.
I did some flowers.
Oh, you can't see it. You have to hold it up.
Well, I think we're upside down. He's standing on his head.
Where are the flowers, baby? Oh.
Oh, are they down at the bottom?
Is that them right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
All the way down.
So what happens to his body between the pink jacket and the flowers?
Still in here, she's saying. There's more. And
you could have, is he on a chair? You could look at the photo. Is he standing? Maybe he's got different colored pants on. Or maybe the flowers are coming up so tall, they're going all the way up to the jacket. That's possible. You could put birds in. You could put your favorite animals in.
I need help. Okay, let's see. How can you do this?
No, you're good. Just come closer.
Hold on, because my
Here,
paper.
they're taping this, but they're not going to, I think they're not going to see anything except my drawing that's just laying there and hear our voices.
Let's see.
Okay, now go up a little higher. I hold the drawing. Good. Okay, so I think that line that you have under his chin jaw, right under the mustache, is a little hard, a little dark. And so I would lighten that one. And I think he's maybe, what does his head want?
I'm trying to say something, but my thing was off.
Oh.
The face is too long.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
realized it too late, and I did it upside down, but it's too long.
Would you be willing to just move his mustache and mouth and nose up a little bit?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, why not? Yeah, your hair looks really nice and silky and wavy, like you just washed it.
Yeah, but I can't get him to smile right now. He's like a long face.
Yeah, it's because of the length. So measure with your finger and your eye from his eyeball to the edge of his mouth, and so you can shorten that distance, and then shorten the nose distance as well.
Okay.
I'll try. Marla. Yeah. Mine's very, very basic. Here's the picture. Whoops, which you can't see very well.
I see the picture. Now I see that.
And then I just did very basic. You can't see it.
I can. Yeah, no, it's good. You got it.
I didn't add the hair yet or anything because I'm just sort of like focused on the expression.
So the point of his nose seems to be going
too much
that way. Yeah, I think you want the point to like sort of switch directions, you know, a little bit, because it looks like it's pointing one way.
Yeah.
And in the photo, it's maybe pointing, it's a little bit over the other way.
Okay.
That won't be much to change. You can just, you know, cover it with some mustache to push it over probably.
Okay, good.
But I think you're really close. I mean, I'm too embarrassed to show you I don't even have it anymore. The first ones I did, they were really not good at all. It takes so much time and practice, I promise. Everyone is doing great. This is not, I mean, not even easy for people who have been drawing people a long time.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, Veronica, you got it.
Oh, wow. This definitely has Baba's expression.
So Veronica, you might have some shading on the sides of the face, because one thing a photograph does often, photographs often flatten our faces out, but really there's these shadows. Oh yeah, right, I see it.
Big shadow. So it's very contrasted.
It is, it's complex. So your shadow can even go down more toward the bottom of his nose. It can get lighter, but I pull that down, and then the forehead shadow, let it get darker up there. So you can feel the bone structure underneath. You know, everybody, we've got planes. So the side planes of our face go one way, and then we've got the, flatter plane in front. So we want to feel the side planes of his face. And the way to do that, it's like an architecture of his face. And it's by putting in those shadows here that will give it more dimension. Because it's beautiful right now, but I think let's try to give him some bones underneath it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And my job to me is like just to push you all a little further from where you are. So you might already be like, oh my goodness, this goes in a museum. And it's like, well, maybe I can find one little thing to tweak. Okay, I'm going to go back to my upside down one. Sometimes I wish it would be like the elves and work for me when I'm not working on it. But it doesn't want to do that. It keeps waiting for me, and I still have it in the wrong place. I still have to redraw and redraw and redraw. And you can spend hours on this. I mean, truly, it's a meditation. You can spend all day on it. And then erasing, just little tiny erase marks in certain places will open up things and change them in a beautiful way. So you can use your pencil to shade back and forth lightly. You can also use a fingertip, but if you do use your, you don't have as much control, so you might have to go back in with the eraser and pull something out that you just did where your fingertip wasn't supposed to push it. And once you continue on this, and if you finish it, you can even go back. Oh my goodness, I have to totally move this eye and add color around the background. I maybe wouldn't add it, but you could put color in the background. You could even collage. You could do mixed media. So right now I'm redrawing an eye right underneath where I had one because I realized it was too high up. And so that's why it's good that I didn't spend a whole hour on that one eye, since I've got to move it. And it's not like Photoshop where I can just pick it up and move it. It's all got to be done by hand.
Yeah, my eyes are too close together, I think. But
yeah, so now I'm really off. So aren't I a good role model? No.
You're great. Yes, you give us hope.
Right. Yeah, you can see it's like, oh my goodness, she's been doing it for so long and she still can't do it. But it's like, it's all about humility, right? It's like Baba's teaching me humility right now. I am not perfect and I never will be. Maybe if I come to have so many lifetimes as an artist, I still won't be.
frustration.
And you can measure too, like on the photograph that I have, if I take my pencil and I put it at the top of his eyes going across, one eye really is a touch lower, but I have it like, an entire eye lower. So, so my big face of Baba is shrinking smaller and smaller as I keep trying to fine tune it, which is why I didn't want you to make a hard outline of his face, because I knew it was going to go away. And I've had, like students, preteens and teens who will spend a whole class trying to make a perfect circle for their face. And it drives me crazy because it's going to go away.
So comment on this one.
All right. Okay, Ellen, hold it up a little bit. Oh yeah.
Let me go to where I can see how I'm holding it. There. Okay.
It looks really good. I think you're ready to put in the darkness of his eyes now.
No, they're too close together. I have to take one out. Yeah. I checked. I thought so, and then I measured, and yes.
It looks sort of like you, though. Your face is that kind of structure.
My eyes are too close. Well, no, that's that.
Well, not too close. Actually, I think real close together are a symbol for intelligence. My ex-husband had really close eyes together. But what about? It seemed his face seemed a little long, and it could be. We know that he has a long nose, but
I think his nose is perhaps too long. But the eyes are definitely too close together. So, unless I make them smaller, that would be the other way. They would be.
Can you hold up the photograph for me one more time?
I haven't darkened the pupils because that's last, for me. But
I don't think they're too close together. I think that it's just maybe the top of that nose that goes to where you can see left side of his face, maybe just cuts off one a little more. Like the curve from the top of the nose to the eyebrow. Maybe
well, if I measure the eyes, if I take a pencil, do a measure on the eyes in the photograph,
yeah, there
is more than one eye between them. And if I do it on mine, it's like a little less than one eye between. So,
well, is your size of your face accurate to the size of the face on the photo, though?
Well, I wasn't measuring the size of the face. I was measuring the space between the eyes.
Yeah, but it's all in relation.
But then I probably brought the face in to match the eyes. on the outside, so, but.
So one thing is looking at it and changing it, and the other is going intuitively. And the other is like you forget about the photo.
I see them as too close together intuitively.
Okay.
So that's an agreement with what, and that's why I measured, because that was what, wait a minute, his eyes are too close. Okay, so that'll mean I have to push the face out, but I can't have him with eyes too close together. It doesn't work.
If you brought some of this nose shape, you know, from the eyebrow, this curve that does this thing here, like if you brought some of that to cover that eye a little bit, that would push it more that way and be further apart, without really having to redraw the eye much. You just stretch the nose wider up there.
I could try that, but I still have to erase some of the eye. I really do. Yeah. If I bring the right eye out and leave the left eye more or less.
Oh, look, we got Babas in the planets down there. So cute. Really nice. Okay, so maybe make his eyeballs and eyebrows a little bit darker in the Baba and the Planet one. If you want to be more real, you could bring one eye a little closer in, and then I would go for color if I were you. You could even go for sparkles, for paint, for mixed media, you know, if you felt like it in the planets, make it really magical.
That's
So you all, this is such a special occasion that for the first time in 5 months, I put on earrings. I want you to know, just for you. I felt my holes closed up in my ears because for 5 months I haven't left the house except for the grocery.
We're honored.
I had to dress up a little.
Okay.
So good to see you.
Who said that, Joe?
Joe.
Joe, where do you live now?
I'm in Portland. I was in Portland when we met at the beach. Do you remember that?
How many years ago was this?
The guest house after our moms died.
Oh my God, yeah, 5 years then. Wow.
Yes, 5 years.
Okay. Yeah, and it's like Ellen, I see her on Facebook and I was like, oh, now I get to see her face and hear her voice, you know. Really interesting. Oh, look at Arnell's up there. Armel, I mean, sorry. Wow. Armel,
I
don't move.
the face.
Oh, that's much better.
Oh,
so you decided to open his eyes more than they're open, didn't you? Maybe?
I haven't really done anything to the eye. I just redrew the whole bottom of the face because it's too long.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely better now. You way closer, way closer.
What do I do next to make it better?
So the side where his ear is showing, get those shadows in. See all those the shadows underneath his hairline from his ear down to his jaw. I would get those shadows in more.
Okay.
And then I also think on the other side of his face, the mustache that's on the skinnier side of the face is got to get a little bit shorter and less dark and go up a little more. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's got this hard edge going that that we want to sort of soften the top of it and shorten the bottom of it.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Yay. This is definitely working easier than with the teenagers, I'll tell you. Wow, Veronica. Okay. He's like the man in the moon. What kind of neck does he have in your picture?
Doesn't really have much of a neck.
Shorter. Like that.
Okay. Well, maybe just, you know, like let his shoulders come out more and then just darken under, you know, the neck. So unless you want him to be more like a floating face.
No, that was not intentional. Thank you.
Uh-huh. And then under his lip, I see there's a shadow under one side of the lip, and see what happens to it under the other side. Is it more so under one? Oh yeah, yeah. So it's got to have more darkness under there, because otherwise it looks like you're doing one of these, like when you shave, you know. Well, not you, but when men do it. Yeah.
I'm laughing.
Oh, there's our little goat and Baba. Very sweet.
That's great.
Very sweet. Oh, hand, good hand. Let it come in a little bit more between the, I would go deeper between the pinky and the ring finger maybe. Stretch
Okay.
that down a little bit.
Your idea of shadows helped.
Good. And don't be afraid to go darker in his hair and, you know, around what happens around the edge of his ear there.
Okay.
Oh, look at this one. Wow. All right, so I'm thinking the shadow under his mouth might be too dark. Okay. Unless you're going to darken a bunch of other shadows on the side of his face or something, because right now it seems more like it might be a beard, or, you know what I mean? It's like put in, let's see, who is this over here again? This is someone with an unusual name.
Zoxis.
Say it again?
Zoxis.
Zuxis. Did I say it right?
Yeah, almost.
We'll do it again for me then.
Zoxis.
Xerxes.
Xerxes.
Xerxes?
Oh my goodness. Xerxes. I'm going to spell it for myself. Xerxes. Oh, that's hard. That's a hard one for me. Okay, Xerxes. So one with his shoulders, one of them like really slopes down. See if maybe it wants to pop up just a little bit more, you know, on that one that slopes. And then with the shadow under his lips, use your eraser to just pull out some lights and then give some of those sort of medium shadows in his face where you see it, maybe in between the eyes and the nose. And then also, how does his hair end? The hair that's falling on his shoulders. Does it end straight like that? Does it end in a few different curls? Does some of it go behind it? You know, again, you can use your eraser to like pull in some spaces between it a bit.
Hi, Marla. J. Bob, Rich Bloom here.
Hi, Rich. How are you? Are we going over? Are we in the way of something else?
Yeah, there's a discussion group starting now at 4 o'clock.
Well, is it 4 o'clock already?
It's 3 minutes after 4, actually.
No.